What is one challenge you find you are facing right now, and how are you working to overcome it?
Um, hmm. Well, I've been really getting into like the physical practice of the yoga, but also getting back into dancing because what I realize is that I sitting so much. And especially, now we're communicating through our phones and our computers like now all the time. So there's less unless you make it a point to like
Yeah, you have
move
to
your body.
disconnect. Yep.
So I was realizing there was a lot of stagnant energy in my body and it was manifesting in like inflammation and not feeling well. And really the worse you feel, the less you feel like moving your body. And so even with the like a daily morning yoga practice, what I realized pretty recently is that if I don't like take walks, but also the dancing, and I mean literally dancing in your room, like with music and just
Right.
letting it go. Because I did try some dance classes, which were kind of a nice jump off for me. But what I realized is that I just need to like cut loose and not be trying to follow somebody else's instructions. But that's been a huge breakthrough for me just in the last couple weeks because I've been feeling this like inertia with the like sluggishness and the kind of just like knowing I should like move around more, but like feeling so just lethargic and like not wanting to get out of that space, if that
I know
makes
what you
sense.
mean. Like there's like this element of you need to move and that's what needs to happen. But then there's this space where you give in to that lack. It's
Yeah.
really
Oh,
lack is what
totally.
it is.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like, and that will lead you to further lack and depression or whatever else
Oh,
it is.
totally.
And you might
Totally.
like, you don't even have to be depressed to
Oh,
have that. It just,
yeah.
it's part, I think it's part of the, I think it's part of the pandemic, but other people would probably say this is just a normal mixture of these two emotions or feelings. But
Yeah.
I've seen it heightened during the
Mhm.
pandemic where people are like, well, normal pandemic protocols would tell me to stay inside and not go out and not do this or not try this. And there's like an internal conflict,
Mhm.
I think,
Mhm.
with the pandemic itself.
Mm.
And I've never talked about this on video before, and I'm fine to talk about it now, but there is this internal conflict where you feel like you need to be isolated and alone
Mhm.
and not go out to keep everybody safe, right? Or to keep yourself safe. And then you kind of go really inward, maybe too far inward, where you become stagnant or immobile,
Mm. Mhm.
where you're like, and there is a level, and this probably goes back to what you were saying earlier, there's a level of fear that creeps in. If I do go out, this might happen, or this or that might happen, or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like there's an extra level of fear that's added to that just because of the pandemic itself. And then there's the opposite side of that inside of yourself that's saying,
Mhm.
I need to move around, I need to go, I need to be on my game, I need to
Mhm.
be, you know, not living this up, but like living my true purpose here.
Mhm.
And the pandemic has really given me a great shadow that I don't like, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're like, go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you just let me live my life already? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a
No.
balance that you're like, what am I doing? What am I, what is going on here? What should I, your body's like still trying to figure out what should I be doing here? What's really best for me to do here? And what does that really look like for me to live it out every day? Because even if you follow one of those two feelings inside of you, it's like if you follow it too far or too much, it causes a problem.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, right? Like you're like, okay, well, I'll just stay inside, not isolate like I'm supposed to. And then you get depressed and sad, and then you're like, get me the hell out of here, right?
Yeah, no, for me, I mean, I totally see I feel like what you're saying is probably so like what so many of us have
It's so
been going.
normal. It's so normal for the
Yeah.
pandemic. It's normal,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
normal at the
Yeah.
same
For me,
time.
I just like, I can't say enough good things about just getting up off your seat and just going and turning on some music and dancing because you and with the door
Right.
shut, the curtains can be drawn. No one has to know.
And
But
you don't even have to go outside to do that. You can do it
yes,
right in
it
your
feels
living
so
room.
good.
Just move.
Yeah, just move. Yeah, it's been something that's helped me so much. I mean, I think now that I'm dancing, because I used to be a dancer like when I was really young. And I remember that feeling, and I honestly can't believe so many years have gone by now that it was more like ballet and more structured dance, but just to have the free form like experience has been really really helpful, and I feel like it's helping my body and my health like tremendously. So that's what I would say has been like this was kind of a big problem I was having, and now I'm like feeling like, wow, that's so simple and it's free and you can do it anytime.
Totally. Yeah. Anytime.
So
Anytime your heart desires at this point. Okay. So, in a different direction, who is one person who has inspired you in your life, inspired you beyond belief, in amazing ways? It can be someone who is alive, it can be someone who is dead, famous or not famous. It can be yourself if you want. It's whoever has inspired you, and how have they inspired you and why? I know this is like a really big.
um uh well, I would have to say my teachers, my yoga teachers. There's really two people. Hari Jeevan and Tej are their names. And when I wandered into yoga class, my first one, 13 years ago or whatever, I didn't know. It was like a friend was in town, and like that's why I went, because otherwise, like I said, I was like practicing at home, like not wanting to go in public into a yoga class. And so when I wandered into my first class, I didn't know what I was getting into. But after the first class, hour and a half, like I felt such uplifting energy that was so unexpected, that I just decided to try doing more. And I never could have imagined the changes and the blessings and the energy that I was stepping into in that moment. So about 6 months after my first class, I took a teacher training with the intention of just deepening my own practice and getting to know the practice. Never expecting to teach at all. Like that, like was like incomprehensible.
Right.
To
Yeah.
actually teach the class. So that experience of the teacher training, which was with those teachers I mentioned, was so deeply impactful and healing for me that I wanted I wanted to be able to share that experience with other people. But I thought maybe in the future I would had this secret desire, like someday I'll teach. And I ended up teaching really right away after graduating for the teacher training, which was terrifying for me, but also like I knew I had to do it. And so I started teaching right away. And then that experience of teaching was such a blessing in my life because it forced me to keep up my own practice so that I would have something to share. And so I kept on studying this whole time with those teachers and just going deeper and deeper the tech. Really, we consider Kundalini yoga to be a technology. And that's why you can be Catholic, you can be Jewish, you can be Buddhist, and you're connecting to your own path, your own dream. It's not something that's about it's about aligning with your own higher self. And so Kundalini yoga is a technology to connect to that force and to strengthen your nervous system and to connect to all the energy that is a human being, how we're made. And I feel like I'm kind of like when I started learning this, the Kundalini yoga, I was amazed at how beautifully divine the human body mind system has been created. And I'm like shocked that like we're not taught about this, like we're taught our ABCs, it's just
Right.
like foundational to being human. And so I pretty quickly saw the benefits in my life where I was so oversensitive and insecure that it was hard for me to be around people. I was coming back to like who I felt like I really was, which is like a loving, person that actually loves people. And so the practice actually gave me the strength and gave me the healing to like step into like a more joyful version of myself. And so those teachers are really, they're the people that inspired me and have taught me really this technology and have given me a way to connect to the higher truth and energy. And all my designs really come out of the energy of, honestly, it's beyond my ability to really explain. All I know is that like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I just started, my designs completely changed. And I felt that I was able to somehow collage imagery so that is connecting to something higher. And that comes from the meditation. So it's not something I feel like is mine. It's like something that I let come through. And so, yeah, so that would be my answer, is my teachers, because they gave me something I didn't even know existed. So
In that answer you just gave, you talked about how, I'm going to touch on a couple things. You talked about how this can be really practiced with any faith tradition.
mhm.
What would you say to someone who has reservations about doing Kundalini yoga with any faith tradition?
um,
Is there anything you would say to them or no?
I would say if you're called to it and curious about it, but you have some reservations, to think of how everything on a scientific level, we're atoms and molecules, and we're like vibrating in space. And so the way I was taught it and the way I practice it is that this is just a technology for you to get in touch with who you are and your energy. And so however you, as God made you, like however you're connecting to your God, this technology is just going to give you more energy, more awareness, more peace, more faith, more passion to your path. And I can say that because I've seen it. I've seen it my whole time practicing. I've seen people of all faiths practice and become more devotional and more lit up and more aligned in their own path. So that's how I practice it. That's how my teachers practice it. I can't speak for all Kundalini yogis, but
Right.
in my experience and my community, that's what it's about.
So it sounds like it's really about your groundedness in God's love for you and what that really looks like as a human being.
Yes, absolutely. That'd be a
Yeah.
great way to say it.
Which, so there was something else you said earlier that I was going to say something about, like the humanness versus the divineness.
Mm.
We're reminded every day. So whatever this, as people of non-faith, of no faith,
Mhm.
most people are just like, okay, this is my life. This is the way I'm going to live it. To hell with everyone, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. There's like a million views on that.
Mhm, mhm.
People of faith, they're like, how can I live out this faith, but yet I'm just human? How can I
Mm.
live this out, but I'm just human and I'm a flawed human and I'm so messed up. I can't do anything right. No
Mm.
matter what I do, I epically fail. Even no matter how much I try, I'm never going to be perfect. There's that mindset. And then what it sounds like you're saying is that this practice can help people stay grounded in their divineness and recognition that God has created you as an image and likeness of God.
Yes.
Where is God channeling through you? Where is God present in you? Some people will say channeling through you. Other people will say present in you. Where is the Holy Spirit present in you? That is moving through you right now, to realize that your whole body is a divine gift from God.
Yes.
Created by God in the image and likeness of God. And what does that really look like in the everyday world that you are faced with every day here, concretely on earth, versus wherever God is? Although
Yes.
God is also present here.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Kundalini yoga is specifically known as the yoga of awareness. So what I found is that it's like we're walking around, but the lights are turned off, or like we're in a room and the lights are turned off, but the room is filled with furniture. And when you start practicing, and I'm not saying this, you can do this with many different practices, but
Right.
Kundalini yoga happens to work, and it works fast. And so it's like turning the lights on and seeing what's there, and seeing that, for just speaking for myself, it's like realizing that I have like that even in the body and on the earth, that we can be connected to our divine, our heaven, the heavenly realms, and see. And it's like, to me, really, it's like the heaven on earth it's a vibration, and it's a vibration of love, and it's something that we can like it's an awareness, it's a consciousness that we can like be in. And so there's physical like practices that we can do with the breath and moving and sound to get into that vibration. So it's actually a very practical way to kind of live your faith, and whatever your faith is. So that's been my experience, and I think the way you stated that was really beautiful and
Well,
true.
in your explanation too, it really gives light to what it can look like for someone who has a faith life, but then also to people who just want to be a yogi.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's that piece too, where there are people who that is their belief and that is their truth. And no matter what, in any faith tradition, it can bring you to a higher realm of existence with the divine, but then also to live that out more fully in your own life, and recognizing the divine fully present here and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because there's some interpretations where it's all about passion, and it's all about like, which we do want people to be passionate, but in a negative way, it can be seen as a certain like sexual, passionate, weird thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that needs to be kind of dismissed in some ways. I think there's a level of this where it's like, if it can bring you into your higher realm of existence with knowing who the divine is and knowing that God is present in you, especially if you've denied it through your whole life, or, if I think it's especially beneficial for people who have been abused in their past or have been hurt in their past, where they don't recognize the divine in them anymore. Where they can really recenter in that and see divine is fully present here. And it's not just present here, it's present in you.
Yes.
And you can experience it in this way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But also going into that higher realm, like you had said, going into that higher realm of existence.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
If there was one thing you could tell every woman, or that you think every woman should know, what would it be? Like that golden nugget, or that nugget of information, or spiritual whatever you wish someone had told you, or that you learned throughout this time that is really important, or that have always lived by?
Well, I would say to remember that you're a creator, and we can create life with our bodies. I don't have children yet. I still hope to have children, but that you're a creator no matter what, that you're creating through everything that you do, and that in your energy is incredibly powerful as a creator, And so that you can create your whole reality in such more potent, powerful way because of how you're made as a woman and your energy field. So really just the empowerment that comes with really knowing that how your physiology, but your energy has been made to create life, and that's all kinds of life. So that would be my message, is just to step into that power, because there's a lot of potency in that. And I feel that we've been sort of sold a bill of goods to think that to step into our powers to be more like a man. And I feel that that is, to me, that's absurd. I see the power of a woman is in her ability to create, and that's creating her whole reality. And anybody that steps into your reality is part of that energy. So yeah, that would be my message.
How can you debunk that a little bit? So I know it's a really weird question, but it's not. If I had interrupted you, it would not be. So back in the beginning of what you just said, you were like, this is about your ability to create and not just in your body, right? Like it's not just about creating, and that you have a high potency as a female, just being female.
Mm-hmm,
Can
mm-hmm.
you explain that a little bit and what that is and what that looks
Yeah.
like? And
So in the yogic science, they say that women have 16 times more densely interwoven energy field, which means that we can create things, 16 times more powerfully than a man. And so our energy can be so much greater, but also with that becomes more responsibility, because we can also bring the energy down like 16 times faster and worse.
right.
And they're like all, I think cultures throughout time have connections to real wisdom, and the saying of like, mama's not happy, nobody's happy, happy wife, happy life. Like all those things point to how like the energy of the woman is what's kind of everyone's enveloped in that energy in her life and in her family. And I think if women can really tap into that and step into that power and empowerment, that the upliftment of the family, of the culture, comes from that energy. And so I feel that men and women have such unique gifts, and that for women to really recognize their unique power in that way will just be a blessing to everyone. So
How would you recommend women step more fully into that? Like, what does that look like?
I think to practice whatever it is that gives you the alignment to your higher self. So if that's yoga, if that's prayer, if that's running, if that's art, if that's whatever it is for you, I feel that like if you're watching this show, that you have a connection. You have a
clearly if you're here.
yeah, you have a connection to your soul, and you know what we're talking about. You wouldn't be tuning in if that weren't true. So, but I think it's one thing to know, it's another thing to make it a part of your daily practice.
So how do you do that? How would you tell
make
people
it,
to do that?
you
Or
make it
it's not even
priority.
like, it is daily practice, but there's a deeper level. So go ahead with daily practice.
Yeah, so it's about making that a priority in your life. And for people that are super busy, have lots of kids or whatever it is, it can be a small thing. It doesn't have to be a big elaborate thing, but it's about your intention to connect to that space in yourself. And it can be a silent prayer. It can be deep breaths. It can be something very small, but it has to be intentional. It has to be every day. I think that's the key, is really, even if it's a short, small thing, like you connecting to your higher self, your soul, your God, whatever it is that is your connection and way to connect, making that a part of your life really consistently, you're going to see the blessings and energy flow from that.
And then how do you recommend that women stay in their female energy with so many things pulling and tugging at them every single day through their walk here? Like, and I'm, if you're having a hard time visualizing this, picture the old Manhattan when you were here.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
Manhattan has kind of changed during the pandemic, but pre-pandemic, you know how women were here pre-pandemic.
yeah, yeah.
How would you recommend they stay centered in that feminine, beautiful energy?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the feminine energy is naturally receptive. So if you can cultivate some sort of practice that brings you back to your receptivity and your ability to just, honestly, it can be as simple as like caring for yourself in a really small way, because a lot of women, they're kind of self-sacrificing, and they'll give everybody else in their life energy before they give themselves energy. And so whatever it is that fills your cup to do that, that can, I think, make a profound shift, whether it's just, taking your baths with, beautiful music, just giving yourself a moment with a candle or flowers, appreciating the flowers, bring that into your life. That's, you want to kind of deprogram the thought stream that says that you need to always go out and like accomplish and conquer and achieve. You want to come back to that still center part of you that can allow and receive, and just realize that you're super powerful in just being, and not having to always go and like do and get it, because that's a very masculine way of moving through life. And I think a lot of us that are ambitious and we have big dreams, we have to absolutely be in that side of ourselves. But you can lose something really important and really powerful by not having awareness around when you're like consciously be in the more masculine, like go get them like mode. So you that's great, but you can consciously be going back into your more feminine, receptive mode. So it's
Yeah.
something I'm like working on and becoming more conscious about, because for many years I was like super, go get them, being an entrepreneur. I think anybody that's an entrepreneur can probably relate to that.
Right.
Because you have to be super like on it, and like you have to be ambitious to get
Right.
stuff done. So
Well, and so in that, it's not a bad thing to be ambitious or to have that masculine energy, as people term it, flow through you, but you can really lose yourself and the female and feminine person that you are, that God has created you to be, like really create what you're, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I mean this in a positive way. The spirit that God has created you with,
absolutely.
and the body God has created you with, you can start to really lose your way if you're not focusing in on it. I'm not going to say to anything, because I don't know if there's to anything, but if you lose focus on that,
Yeah, for
it's
you.
very easy, especially here. And so I'm not even going to say Manhattan. I'm going to say in major cities, it's very easy for women to lose focus on who they truly are and their essence. It's what it is. It's their essence.
Yes.
And they end up throwing their essence out the window to go do whatever it is that other people tell them they have to do, to be whoever it is that people tell them they have to be. And then they throw themselves out the window with their essence.
Yeah.
It's so, and it's not, I've seen it happen here in Manhattan. I've seen it in other places too. I've seen it across the board in different countries, not just here in the United States. It's really hard. It's really hard. And it's, in that way, it's really hurtful to women too.
Yeah.
That even the expectation that's put on them to be that and do that and to strive in that manner, or to be in that.
Totally.
It's a cage. It is literally a cage.
Yeah.
For women, it is a cage.
Yeah.
And there's no other word for it.
Yeah, it's actually a real, like, it's a deception, I think, because I think, but I think it's all part of a grander evolution. So I'm not
It
like stuck
is.
in the negative part of it, but I feel like we're moving into a new era, and this is just processes we're going through as a collective.
Yeah. But there's also, so, and you may not know about this because you, and I'm not, I'm not saying this in a, again, in a negative way. I'm just saying this, I guess, in my own experience, there's also this level of like, how do I want to word this? So there's that which I just described. And then there's this area where once you become a mother, you're like defender of your children.
Mhm.
And so this overdrive kicks in about what's best for your children and the drive for that and like pushing yourself in that direction, but you can overcompensate in that too and
Mhm.
still lose your
Mhm.
femininity. And I don't, again, I'm not like, whatever, I'm not gonna, whatever, for the terminology, I'm just gonna leave it what it is. You
Yeah.
can use your femininity, but then also other people on the outside of you, it's not just that you can lose it on your own.
Mm.
Other people can force you or push you or try to make you lose that because
Mm.
they want you to be who they want you to be.
Interesting.
And that's not okay either.
Yeah.
So even as women, like women that have children, there's an extra layer that goes a little bit deeper where it's like your intuition and your drive tells you to protect your children and to do whatever to keep them safe. That's part of your role. That's just, it just happens. It just happens. It's just
Mhm.
present.
Mhm.
And so you already have that drive on top of this extra craziness that society throws at you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you're like, how do I really stay grounded in my truth and my femininity,
Mhm.
my true essence in being as a woman,
Yeah.
even if you're not super feminine? You know what I mean by the term
Right.
femininity and
Yeah.
feminine and in
Yeah.
today's culture in the
Yeah.
US.
Totally.
There's a level of it where like you feel like there are moments where society makes you feel like you have to push that aspect of yourself and have it be gone.
Mm.
And it's not allowed to be present here. And that's not a truth at all. It's a total lie.
Yeah.
It's a total lie. And so many people give into the lie. And the
Totally.
more they don't stand up for the truth and serve the lie, the worse it gets.
Mhm.
The worse it gets. And it's the same thing in the other paradigm also, where say you don't have children and you're just a woman, in the world, functioning in the world and trying to find your fit within
Mhm.
the culture or within wherever you live or whatever that looks like
Mhm.
there, or the pressure of that space or location or that thing. And you even like, even in your whole, what you just said about being a business owner and an entrepreneur, that's a whole other level. It's like
Yes.
there's
Yes.
this whole other level where you have to be not competitive, but you have to be on your game. You have to
Mhm.
know what you have to have the vision, whatever it is. You don't have to be like have it so figured out and planned, but you do have to have a vision,
Yeah. Yeah.
and be led by the Holy Spirit, that but then also take action on that.
Yeah.
There's, and even in that space, other people can push you to be something you're not meant to be, or something God's not asking you to be,
Yeah. No, you can
or where spirit
definitely,
isn't leading you, or
yeah,
universe.
get out of balance,
Yeah.
really out of balance. Like the self nurturing and I mean, I know self-care is like a total buzzword now, but like what's the reality of that, and how important that is, pretty profound. And I've certainly gone through quite a number of phases of burnout just because you're pushing too hard, and it's
Yeah.
kind of and you throw yourself out of balance. And even with all the tools and my yoga practice and everything, you still can lose your way. But that all becomes part of a greater learning evolution process,
Yeah.
so that you can help right the ship for your own self, so then you can have more wisdom, more compassion to help other people. So I feel like no experience is wasted. That we learn from that. When things get hard is when we learn the most, it seems.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah.
and to burnout, when you hit burnout, that means you've pushed God out. That's what that means. That's what
Yeah.
burnout is. That
Yeah.
means you've pushed God out.
Yeah.
So
No.
God's forcing you to make time for God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Absolutely.
not forcing, because God's not a forceful God, but you know what I mean. God's like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
No.
you brought yourself to your
Definitely.
lowest point.
Yeah.
Like,
You lose your way.
you
You lose
know,
your way.
let
Yep.
me refill you now.
Yep. 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 Totally. So
It's yeah. Okay, so my other question is, this is the last question. How would you define a woman full of soul? What does that look like in the world
oh,
today?
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. I think it's a woman that's just connected to whatever it is that lights her up, and then makes it a part of her life so that she can share it with other people. Because I think service to others is really what it's all about to me, and that comes in many, many forms. And so it's when you filled your own cup, and you made the Holy Spirit, the soul, whatever words you want to use, it's the love. If you're connected to that force through your daily life and your priorities that you set, then you have something to share other people, and you can help uplift other people just by your presence, and just by a kind word or look, or just even by your energy field. You can uplift other people. And in this time, I really feel that that's what we're here to do. We're here to bring hope and a positivity and an energy to people that really are having the hardest time ever now. So I think a woman of soul is just someone that's got that candle lit inside them so that they can shine out. So it's really simple, and it can be, it can look in many, many ways. It's not just one kind of archetype. It's a universal, um, it's a universal thing. And I think it's beautiful to celebrate that and talk about that and make a whole show about that, because it's something that the world needs more of. So
So most of what you just said is love transforming others. How do you see love transforming inside an individual or yourself? What does that look like? And what are
so
the benefits of that? It's not just what it looks like.
yeah.
What are the benefits of that?
Yeah, well, I think just one small act of kindness can change a life. So it's really just about having enough connection to the God in your own self, and alignment to the higher force in your own self, so that you can stay present, stay neutral, and stay kind, really, in your life, and bringing, whatever it is that you're here on the planet to do, that you are consciously connecting to that, and living that, and therefore being able to be someone that can inspire other people to be in alignment with their own truth and their own path. So it can be very, very small, and it can be very grand, but it really, to me, it's about like loving kindness. There's like I think it's a Buddhist phrase of loving kindness. And that's something I try to live my life by. And actually, the Dalai Lama, someone asked him what his religion was, and he said, "My religion is kindness." And so that's really what it's about for me. That's the way I see it.
How does that transform you? I'm asking you to go a little bit deeper. So,
Yeah. So when I'm in my energized self, and not in my like lower, small, want to hide self,
mhm,
I can go out into the world and be what I feel like so the concept of like the butterfly effect, where like one small flap of a butterfly's wings can cause like a hurricane on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
So
which it really
yeah.
can.
Yeah, so I feel that when you're aligned in your higher self, you can go and you can be like more kind, more present, more like accurate, more excellent in just the most simplest, like going to the grocery store or whatever. That energy, it affects, we affect everyone else and we're affected by everyone else. So the more of us that are showing up and going through our day with that integrity of energy of alignment, I think contributes to the collective like healing and upliftment of the planet. And I think that's what we're here to be a part of. So yeah, it's something that I think is really personal, but it has an effect on a really grand scale if you want to get, thinking about how small actions have big consequences.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to go deeper. You ready?
Yes.
Every blessing to others, like you just named,
Mm-hmm.
is also a blessing to you.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes back to you. So every time God works through you, it goes out to others, but it also comes back to you.
Mm-hmm.
How is it coming back to you? What does that look like in the cases that you just gave or the scenarios that you just gave, or how are you seeing it? I know it's deep. You're going to dig.
Yeah. So in the
Where is God sending the blessing back to you in that?
yeah. So in the
And that's
past,
not why you do it. I know.
yeah. No, totally. No, I love this question. Um, so the path that I'm on, Kundalini Yoga, there's a concept of seva, which is selfless service. And I think all traditions have something similar.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I found in this is that when I purposefully serve, I it's like it's such a interesting thing because it's supposedly selfless service, but I can see the blessings come in from all different angles. And like I mentioned earlier in this like pandemic time, like I just see blessings everywhere in my life. And I don't understand it. But I feel like it is something to do with this like cultivation and focus on positive energy and the daily practice of connecting to that, and then my intention of giving back somehow creates like a wheel, a torsion field of like good energy expanding out in all directions. And so all I know is that in my life, I just, the more I practice what I'm speaking about, the more miraculous my life becomes. And not to say that bad things don't happen, like I'm a normal person, but on a bigger level or overarching level, like that's what I'm experiencing is just blessings upon blessings. So it's like you give a little bit, but you get back so much more in terms of energy. And you can speak about that in many different ways, but I tend to speak about things just in an energetic, vibrational way. So
Yeah.
that's my experience.
Do you feel like your heart shape has changed? And you may be like, what is she talking about? But if you're not, I'm going to be so happy.
Yeah. So I like to think of the heart's energy like a torsion field, which is like a like a torus. It's like it's got a central channel. It's the basically the energy of any electromagnetic body has like a central channel, and then the energy goes out.
Yeah.
Like this, and the earth has a torsion field, electromagnetic field, and the human body has an electromagnetic field, and we call it the aura chakra system or whatever. Chakras are just spinning wheels, which are actually torsion fields. And so the energy of the heart is the shape of a torus. It's spanning out and it's pulsating out in all directions. So I think in my practice, I've become aware of this. I think on some sort of inner knowing level, I've always connected to the symbolism of the heart. And even my first business, 1111, has the heart, both a symbolic heart and a physical heart in the logo, because it's about alignment with the heart energy. Like that's what my whole thing is about. My whole, like, my business, my life. And so I think that's a really cool question, because I never quite thought of it exactly that way, except for I didn't realize, or I never was taught about the electromagnetic power of the heart, and that the heart, the shape of that is this like expansive energy body that's always like, it can be really wide, it can get small, but we practice to keep it really wide and big.
Yeah. There was another question, but I just forgot it. But it had to do with your heart shape and what you had said. Just give me a minute and it might come back.
For sure.
Um, so you felt that it's expanded, which is awesome. I mean, expanding heart shape is great. I'm trying to think of the question, but I think it's totally left. I don't know if it's coming back. I know what it was. So you were talking about like the energy levels and the electromagnetic fields and the heart shape.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think all of that relates to prayer?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm asking you to describe it because other people already know what I think. I want them to know what you think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think prayer is you're sending this prayer out, and I think when it's energized by the heart, that electromagnetic energy, it can reverberate out into the into the God, and to, if you want to speak in
Ethos.
yes, whatever words you want to use, it can connect with the power of the heart behind it. So like there's a saying, like the heart has the power of 108 suns in the yoga. And I think that's very poetic, but I think it's literal on some level. So yeah, I don't know that I have a verbal answer to your question.
I know
I have more like experiential knowing about it.
But I think you've said enough about it, because what you really emphasized is that you have a heart connection to the divine. You have a heart connection to a bigger heart that's even bigger than yours, that is prompting you every single day, directing you every single day, guiding you every single day, leading you every single day, making connections with you, reaching out to you, trying to touch you every single day.
Yes.
As long as, I mean, no, it's not even as long as, it's every single day, period, no matter what. And some people don't recognize that, but it's important for them to know that. But then there's also like that connection is deepened even more every single day when you pray, when you do yoga, when you do these different meditations, when you try to specifically and consciously connect into the divine.
Yes.
Right? Like you're making a habit of it. You're making a pattern out of it. You're creating a specific form of communication to be in the communication with the divine.
Yes.
Where it's actually deepened and strengthened. And I don't know, other things too that are positive.
Absolutely. That's beyond conception.
That's the easiest way I can think. When you said that it's like it's your heart is connected to a bigger heart.
Yeah.
Right. Outside of yourself. That's really, and it goes back to the universe or the divine or the ethos.
Yes.
You couldn't have said it more perfectly. That's what it is.
Thank you.
So
I feel it.
Other people may not have known that. So thank you for digging for that.
One of my favorite subjects. So thanks for asking. That's
Yeah.
all.
Is there anything else you want to share with everybody, or anything else you'd want them to know? Anything about your business? Anything else that you're like, man, they really need to know this too?
Um, I guess just that anything is possible. And that's really what I live by. Like you can create like the beauty and the joy and the alignment, or even what's not even in your rational mind seems possible. Like you can create it if you align it with your heart and you align it with your higher self. Like I feel that we're taught and we're programmed to really think inside the lines and think small a lot of times. And I think that we're capable of so much more than we realize. So um, my businesses and my journeys as an artist has proven this to me over and over again, that if you don't give up and you just keep on reaching towards that thing that's calling to you too, it's not just a one-way street.
Right.
You can
It's
connect
not like it's not that you're making it all up in your head.
yes,
That isn't
yes,
it. That
yeah.
is not it. And other
So
people will try to tell you that.
yeah,
Believe me, they
exactly.
will.
You don't listen to the haters. I mean,
Yeah.
really, like, and they can come in subtle forms too. So it's about connecting, cultivating that your connection to the divine, so that you can stand in faith and go after your dreams and create the world and the beauty that you're here to create. So that would be my message, because I just feel that we're in such a special time on the planet, and we're being asked to step up and step into our higher calling. And so if you're hearing the call, this is your sign to go for it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I totally agree.
Awesome.
I have one other question. The painting
Yeah.
behind you, the big one behind you with the
Oh,
blue,
yeah.
it's reminding me of Da Vinci.
That's funny that you say that. Oh
It's
my
like
God.
Adam and God reaching out to each other, but I know that's not it. So
Oh,
tell us your inspiration.
it kind of is in a way. You've actually shown me something that I can totally see what you're
I
saying.
just love it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
thanks for saying that. I don't paint very much, but I did paint this a long time ago. And I don't know if you can see this, but this up here is actually photograph of clouds.
Okay.
And down in this bottom corner, and it's sort of, I have a dress form right here, but
Yep.
this is waterfall.
Yep.
And so this is about the cycle of the energy from ethers to water, and the flow and the transformation of the elements. And so to me, it's really symbolic on, just the world we're living in, on the earth, with the elements, and how we bring things from one form to another. And so this is just my little interpretation of just that one concept. And I'm also really connected to the energy and the flow of water. And the name of my business, Starwater Yoga, is also my middle name. And so it's a constant theme. Like if you look at my website and you see the art, you could maybe see the theme play out, where I'm always kind of working on the concept visually, exploring the merging of heaven and earth. And so to me, like the stars are the heavens and the earth is the water. And so I constantly am playing with those visual themes. So that's what that's about. So I made that so long ago, and I don't really remember it anymore. So thanks for noticing that.
Yeah, but it does speak to Da Vinci's piece also.
Yeah, no, now that you said that, I can totally see that too. Which
I'm like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
I think it may not really be meant to be that, but
oh, I love that.
It's really cool. It's really, really awesome. there's another question. Do you have your like pieces like that that are not part of your yoga mats? Do you have other pieces like that for sale anywhere yet, online or anywhere, if people wanted to purchase
Um,
your artwork?
Yeah, so on that site that you showed earlier, starwateryoga.com, I do have art prints, a small collection of art prints for sale. There are different designs that are what are on the mats, but exploring similar themes. And then I'm actually working on a new site right now that's going to be much more art focused. And I'm actually going to be bringing both brands under one roof, one digital roof, because right now it's a lot for me to have just two
Too.
totally different brands. Like it's actually been very humbling because I was very ambitious to start a whole new collect or business as a very small entrepreneur. So I feel like it's time for me to just bring it under one. And so I'm actually working on a new collection of art, which will be sold as art and also put on products, because I absolutely love making art into things that are just in your daily life. So I'll be exploring different products with new art on them too. So
That'll be
stay
fun.
tuned.
Yeah, it'll be so fun. And if you want any recommendations, you can always reach out to us. We have our fine art gallery store, which has prints. We don't
Cool.
have yoga mats, but the group that we use to produce those prints, they also make the everyday things. So they make some of the prints into puzzles. They do
Oh,
like phone cases and different everyday
awesome.
things that you would see, like mugs and different things like that.
Yeah, cool. We'll connect.
Pillows. I don't know. I know I have them on our site. I don't remember what all of them are because I don't advertise them every day.
Mhm.
But if you need more
Cool.
insight, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
We're
Thank
happy to
you.
let you know and to connect you with the group that we use if you don't already have a group or whatever.
Appreciate that.
But I've enjoyed this. This has been fabulous.
Yes,
I was
thank you
like,
so
yay.
much. Thank you for reaching out. It's
So
an
great.
honor. I'm really grateful. Thank you
And
so
I'll
much.
probably, if you're open, I'll probably reach out again to dive deeper into some other theological things,
Okay. All
more,
right.
more yoga things too, so people
Yeah.
start to understand one of the important missions that we have. It's Woman Full of Soul, yes, but one of the other important missions that we have is helping people to understand other faith traditions or other practices
Mhm,
and respect them, but then also, are they beneficial to them and can they blend them in some way with their own spiritual practice?
mhm,
So in the past, I was a youth minister at Fordham University, and we did do yoga retreat weekend or something like that, or painting,
mhm.
retreat weekend and different things like that. So it's really like blending, using it to help grow your spiritual connection, like you had said, and to further you on your spiritual journey in a beautiful and positive way.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And I will I will send you a copy of this
Okay. Awesome.
and I'll
Thank
share
you.
everything on social media. Everyone, you can connect on our page with Jamila's Starwater Yoga and her 1111 site. And we will connect with you next time on A Woman Full of Soul. Jamila, just stay because I'm going to end recording and then I'll talk to you.